also been looking at the surround for the turntable to cover all this. I've started painting and weathering some of these cobblestone surrounds. So obviously the idea is they will go in there, and then there's these inserts which fit inside each of these. As for the internal wall, I've thought about maybe, I don't know, I've been looking at different brick papers. That's just one, it's a dark red brick. Whether I could line the inside wall with that. I'm just not sure what I could stick it with, paper onto plastic, how well it would key, or the best type of glue to use. Failing that, do I just airbrush or paint it like a concretey colour? Same with the base, get a lot of stains, oil stains, rust stains. Well, you can probably tell I'm not great with an airbrush. My skills, coupled with the fact it's a really cheap one that just clogs and splutters, but I've managed to get rid of the original colour. I'm going to have to do quite a bit of touching up now and use some weathering powders, and obviously there's some rust marks, and I'll get some weeds and that in there. Before I put them in and measure them, I'm just going to paint the edges of these just to take away that grey. That's how good I am with an airbrush. Look, I've got more on me than I have on the turntable. I'll leave them to dry, and then I can measure, cut them, just touch up the edges and see how well they'll stick down. Thought I better just check that it still spins okay. Now I've airbrushed the bottom, but it's a really fine layer and it doesn't seem to be impacting anything. What I have noticed, these rails do come right to the very edge of where this rim is. So I'm going to have to be careful, because when I look at the edging, if I can just bring that into focus, you can probably see there's the odd, on the inside edge, there's one of the odd cobbles that hang over. And my worry is that it's going to catch. So I think the safest thing to do is I'm just going to take a small file and just gently file those down to make sure it's a smooth, uniform edge. Then I'll have to just touch the edges up again before I stick them down. Okay, so I've cut the first two pieces to size, just tested them. My plan was just to glue them down with this, plastic to plastic, but I guess that's a bit final once they're down, and if I do at some point in the future want to change the layout, the configuration, then I might have a bit of trouble getting them up. So when I did order these from Jumble Lane, the guy sent me a link to his YouTube channel, and it shows how he put these down, and he actually used double-sided sticky tape. So I've just been to a local cheap shop and bought this It says it's heavy duty double-sided, so I'm going to try this, and at least I can get them up if I need to change them. Whether it's long lasting and whether at some point with the heat in summer when it gets cold I might start to lift, we'll see, but it's worth a go. So I'm going to crack on with that now, get the first couple of pieces down and see how it goes.
Crikey.
Well, it works. I'm going to have to think about, because you can probably see some remnants of the tape. Maybe I can just colour that slightly. I'll get the rest done, then we'll sit back and have a look, see what we think. I have found cutting it with the scalpel on a hard piece of wood give you a much cleaner finish than trying to cut it on the cork. Obviously the cork's soft. It was just letting the blade catch, so that's what I'm going to do for the rest. Just seemed to work. So that's the large areas and all these inserts done. I mean, the inserts are all pre-cut to size with a slight curve on one of the edges, so they were pretty easy to do. That extra strong double-sided tape's not easy to use though. Maybe I should have got the normal strength one, but I managed to get them in. All that's left to do now are these tiny little inserts, which I don't think is going to be much fun. There's going to be a lot of cutting involved there, so yeah, I think that's going to be fun and games. But I'm going to get on with them, then we can have a look at it when it's all done. I have just sent the turntable a full 360 and it's clearing everything, which is promising. So just the last bits to do now, and we'll go from there. Oh, at last, right, that's all the inserts cut and in. They're not stuck into place yet. I mean, that's took probably 3 hours, marking them, cutting them. I was using a scalpel and then a craft knife, and it was taking ages. Probably when I got to the final 2 or 3, I thought I'll just try something else. So I got good old faithful Wilco's, soon to be no more, snippers. So quick, clean cuts, and you can trim to the exact size. So you learn something every day. I could have probably saved myself 2 hours if I'd have started with those, but they're all in. Just gonna get them all stuck down now and move on. Well, it's far from finished, but it's a start. There's still a lot more weathering to do in the pit. I've started to put some rust marks on. Obviously the turntable bridge, nothing's been done with that yet, but what I wanted to do was just get the surround in place, which it pretty much is now, so I can start working out and working back to meet up with the sheds that I started the other week. So that's what we're going to do next.